Hello folks, I hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year. I did here. Anyway, I want to show you what I got for Christmas. Now some of you might have watched a previous video where I covered the Cadisen Homage to a well-known brand with just a date on the dial. This nice one with a Jubilee bracelet and a lovely blue sunburst dial, a fluted bezel, is very evocative of the watch that it's clearly trying to emulate. But at the time I mentioned the fact that there was a more famous iteration of this watch from the movies, from the film American Psycho, which had also a Jubilee bracelet but was two-tone with gold champagne dial and a two-tone Jubilee bracelet, and I had an extreme hankering to get one. Now I thought I really enjoyed the Cadisen and I thought I might just get the Cadisen version, but Pagani Design do a version of this watch as well. Now while this emulates the original Just Date watch, the Pagani Design emulates the newer version with the 41mm case, and this is the watch that I got for Christmas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a good look at this, go over the specs and see what we think of it, and then maybe see which one you like the best. Whoops, wrong way round. Anyway, let's get to it. Well, hi there people. The watch arrives in these, which are the current style of Pagani Design standard box, although with some models you can opt to pay a little extra for a deluxe presentation box. Inside there's the foam protectors, a cleaning cloth, the guarantee card, unstamped and therefore useless, and the user's manual and international guarantee. Again, teaching your mother to suck eggs, and well, useless really. But a nice enough box if you're giving this watch as a gift to someone. So anyway, without much further ado, let's have a look at the watch. And here we have it. Now here we have the Pagani Design PD1645, which is the Pagani Design's homage to a two-tone Rolex Datejust, which is one of the older, more classic models, although this particular watch in these dimensions homages the current model Datejust 41, although smaller case sizes are available, at least from Rolex, although not from Pagani Design. Well, we'll start off with the dimensions of this watch, and I'll compare them as I go with the dimensions for Cadisen watch, which I have here as well. If you have a look at my site, you'll be able to find, on my page, you'll be able to find the separate review of the Cadisen watch. Anyway, what we have is a case diameter of 40.6mm. So it's not actually 41mm, but I've heard it tell that the Datejust 41 isn't 41mm either, or at least if it is, Rolex have a strange way of measuring these things. What we see is a lug-to-lug of 49.8mm, so effectively 50mm lug-to-lug, compared to the lug-to-lug on the Cadisen, which was 45.9, so basically 46mm. So it's quite a bit longer on the wrist. The height, however, is exactly the same at 11.3mm. So despite the fact it has a notoriously chunky movement in it, it's a Seiko NH35 that's inside here, the watch is actually reasonably slim. The watch has some nice fluting on the bezel there. I think you should be able to see that. A signed crown, and the bezel, and the champagne dial, and the handset, and the centre links of the Jubilee bracelet and the centre section of the clasp are all done in a gold tone, not rose gold, a gold tone, which actually looks quite nice. The gold tone on this watch isn't sort of tacky at all, not naff in any way. This one has batten indices, and as you can see there is a fair amount of lume on these indices, and unusually for a Pagani, the lume is actually reasonably effective. The lume doesn't appear particularly nice in this picture here, but I can assure you that it does last for hours, although it takes your night adjusted eyes to be able to read the watch face clearly. If you're waking up in the middle of the night and glance at your watch, you will be able to tell what time it is for most of the dark period of the night. So this is actually a bit of a win, an unexpected win for a Pagani, because usually the lume is a bit rubbish. The watch has polished stainless steel case, which is polished on the sides and on the top of the lugs here. Now, I'm never ever going to be one of the white glove brigade, because I think it's a little bit pretentious, to be honest. I understand why people do it, because you'll be able to see there, it's picked up a nasty little fingerprint. And this watch is a fingerprint magnet, although because of the different design elements, the fingerprints don't appear glaringly obvious. The watch has a sapphire crystal, and unlike the Cadisen, whose magnifier is a bit of a negative, I find it adequate, but it doesn't magnify greatly. The one on this Pagani actually does quite a good job of magnifying the date window. There you can maybe, yeah, you can see that. It's a reasonable quality magnifier. And on this version, this example, the date window is at least level, although it may be offset a little bit further than it should be to the right. But it's not bad. It's a good effective Cyclops, so the date window is quite clearly visible. On the dial you can see the legend automatic 24 joules, and at the bottom Japan movement. Can you see it there at the 12 underneath, where Swiss made would be written on a Rolex. At the top there's no coronet, there's the Pagani logo in black print with printed Pagani design on it. That's all you get. I personally think that an applied logo in gold tone would be quite nice there, but they went their own way and it looks fine. It looks okay. The ray halt on the watch is not engraved at all. It's just simply smooth. The winder, which is a screw-in winder, unlike the Cadisen, which is just a push-pull winder, the screw-in winder is signed with the Pagani logo in 3 dimensions there. It's not just engraved, it's actually embossed upon it. Now, if we turn the watch over, we can see the case back there. It has an exhibition case back, just like the Cadisen does. There we see the, if I can get this to focus, please focus, there we are, PD1645, screw-on case back, screw-on exhibition case back, and the not particularly pretty but functional and by no means unattractive Seiko NH35 movement, which is a reliable workhorse. It's a really good movement, which you find in a lot of these homage watches from China. Seiko have been putting these out for quite a long time, and they've been in Invictas and all sorts of things over the years. They're not particularly accurate, but mechanical watches aren't anyway, despite what anyone will tell you. The difference between a run-of-the-mill workhorse movement and this, and a Rolex is a few seconds a day. But really, if you want accuracy, you go quartz. Don't go for mechanical watches. It's not what they're all about. Now you can see also on the case back there, we've got Pagani Design embossed in it. And it just says water resistant. It says 100 meters with a screw-in case back and well, the oyster design. Basically, I would accept that that's probably an accurate reflection of the water resistance of this watch. It's one that you could wear on holiday and wear in the pool or whatever. You wouldn't have any problems with it. 100 meters water resistant stainless steel. And you can also see that the end links for the Jubilee bracelet are solid, as are the links themselves, which are beautifully articulated. They're really nice. They feel nice on the wrist because they conform beautifully and they move quite freely. In my opinion, these are superior to oyster type bracelets and functionally superior to president style bracelets, although I have a weakness for the president style bracelet, you know, with the centre link, with the solid centre link, because I think they look smashing, especially if the centre link's polished. But in any case, here we go. So solid end links, solid Jubilee links, and a fairly standard, you see these in a lot of Pagani designs. They work very well, very nice Pagani clasp. Now, unlike some Paganis I have experienced, the edges here, on this example anyway, are a little bit better finished. There's a slight sharpness there, but nothing that's going to cut you or affect you at all, nothing you particularly notice, unless, like me, you were looking for it because of past experiences. There you are, Pagani Design stamped on it there, all looking dead handsome and nice. The weight of the watch. Now, Rolex, anything gold you see on a Rolex is real solid gold, 18 karat gold to be exact, which is heavier than steel. So these watches are heavier than the homages. But this one is carved out of a nice big chunk of stainless steel and has a decent automatic steel made automatic movement in it, and it weighs a respectable 135 grams. Now, there aren't any flaws with the manufacture of the smaller Cadisen. It's only marginally smaller in the case size, but you can see it there quite clearly. The Cadisen weighs 120 grams, sized for my wrist, which in practice means about 4 links removed from the bracelet. Now, the bracelet removal here is by, if you can see that, screws. So if you have your little tiny screwdrivers, taking links out and putting them back in is very easy. You won't have to go to a watchmaker. The little screwdrivers are available in all sorts of cheap hardware stores, and you won't have any issues with this. It's not like a nasty Seiko collar and pin design, which just makes life difficult for you. It's very easy to size this to your wrist. Now, how does it wear? My wrist is a little bit over 7 inches, so let's have a look. Here's the watch on wrist. Now, I'll have some other pictures here to show you of the watch outside in daylight, just so you get a real feel for how it really shines. Beautiful wrist roll from these Jubilee bracelets, really nice, and it fits really nicely on my wrist here. But that 50mm lug to lug isn't short, and for smaller wrists you maybe would be better off choosing the Cadisen equivalent. I hope you enjoyed that. My Pagani Design is a lovely watch and I'm really enjoying wearing it. I've been wearing it since Christmas on and off, and I find it very comfortable on the wrist. I think the sticking point for most of you is whether you're happy wearing a homage or not. But this is one of the very few occasions from any of the AliExpress vendors where I've had a watch that, well, there is nothing wrong with this. Apart from the fact that the gold tone isn't real gold, like on the original watch. This is a very, very good imitation of it. And imitation is the serious form of flattery. And I suppose wearing a homage watch like this, you might be a little bit embarrassed sitting beside someone wearing a real Datejust 41 by that famous manufacturer Rolex. And you might feel like the poor cousin, and you definitely would be. But one of the things about homage watches I wanted to say, some years ago I expressed a liking for the Porsche Cayman. I said, oh, that's a really nice car. And my friend scoffed at me and he said, ah, the Cayman, that's the Porsche you get if you can't afford a 911. And I thought to myself with a wry smile, every car I have ever owned shows that I can't afford a 911. And I'm not really ashamed of that. And I don't think you should be either. This is a smashing watch. It's a Seiko movement, it's reliable, it's very well made, it's very nicely finished, and there are no flaws in the manufacture. Always when I get a Pagani or a Cadisen or any of the watches that I bought from AliExpress, there's some little niggle on it. There's just something that just isn't quite, but not with this one. With this one, you get exactly what you think you're buying. And anyway, with that, until the next one, goodbye.